Strengthening Skills with Effective Instruction, presented by Terry Christensen and Heather Johnson. The 5 principles of effective instruction. Number 1, assess student performance to know where to start delivering instruction. Number 2, establish expectations of the student. Number 3, maximize opportunities for responding. Number 4, improve the instructional process. Number 5, motivate students with positive consequences.
Principle 1, assess student performance to know where to start delivering instruction. There are different types of assessments. Formal assessments that are structured tests that are given by trained personnel and are used to determine diagnosis, classification, and eligibility for special education services. Informal assessments are used to gather information about a student's behavior or performance in the classroom. There are 6 types of informal assessments. 1, behavioral assessment. 2, note-taking. 3, classroom observation. 4, curriculum-based assessment. 5, task analysis. And 6, portfolio assessment.
Curriculum-based assessment, or CBA. CBA takes frequent measures of students' performance on short-term objectives, how much a student will achieve in a short period of time, and involves evaluating a student's performance frequently throughout his or her educational career. The results of a CBA are useful in helping to determine present levels of performance, placement of students in a curriculum, progress, mastery skills, where to target instruction. Too high can result in frustration, and too low can result in boredom.
Important features of CBA. 1, CBA allows an instructor to determine a student's level of performance across a variety for activities and environments. Pinpoints specific skill levels, determines how much progress is made, determines when objects are met, helps determine when to begin working on new skills. 2, CBA provides a clear, understandable way for instructors to communicate assessment information to parents, students, and others. They can communicate rate of progress, factors impeding or enhancing progress, effects that instructional changes have had on a student's performance. 3, CBA is consistent with legal requirements that an IEP must contain measurable goals and short-term objectives, provides database information on the present level of performance.
Task analysis involves breaking down a specific task into a sequence of steps, then assessing the student's performance on each step. The purpose is to list the steps a student must perform in sequence to complete a task, pinpoints the steps that will guide the teaching progress.
Components of task analysis. 1, identifying cues, environmental cues that prompt the student to start a task or move to the next step. Should include these cues so that students respond independently. Time cues, specific times of the day may serve as prompts. Example, get muffins at 7:30. Step completion cues, new steps can be prompted by the completion of previous steps. Example, cue to open microwave. Quality accuracy cues. Often steps must be completed at a predetermined level of quality. Example, after heating, students check to see if muffins are warm. Verbal cues. Steps can be prompted by a person's request. Example, student may heat muffin when teacher requests it. Quantity cues. The next step can be prompted when a student completes a certain number of items or products. Example, moving to the next step after muffins are heated.
Number 2, identifying functional steps. Describe what a student must do in sequence to complete a task. If any of the steps are difficult to learn, the instructor might break them down further. Example, operating the dishwasher. Step 1, take plates, cups, silverware to the sink. Step 2, rinse food off dishware and silverware. Step 3, load dishware and silverware onto racks. Step 4, push racks into dishwasher. Step 5, add soap on dispenser. Step 6, turn dishwater on. 6A, close dishwasher door. 6B, push lock to the right. 6C, adjust dial. 6D, push start.
3, identifying speed requirements. A complete task analysis should specify the speed at which the task should be performed. It's important for the student who can complete the task but takes too much time. Note the speed requirements for either the entire task, the specific steps, or both. Dishwashing steps 1 through 3 should take no more than 3 minutes, and steps 4 through 6 should take no more than 1 minute. 4. Identifying quality standards. Most tasks involve a quality standard for completion. This may be difficult to identify or may involve difference of opinion. Ask the teacher or lead in the classroom to provide an example of the minimum level required for the specific task. 5. Identifying potential areas of difficulty. Steps may be difficult for some students. Instructors may need to do one or more of the following: change the cue for the step, break steps down into smaller steps, provide more frequent teaching opportunities, or develop specialized instruction.
Recording data on CBA or task analysis. Instructors record data to make important decisions about students' performance, such as where to start instruction, when to change the method of instruction, or when to move ahead to the next short-term objective. The data are recorded so that the instructor can compare a student's performance with the expectation or criterion standard for mastery to be achieved by the student and is one part of a short-term objective.
1% correct. Recording the student's performance as correct or incorrect. The student's performance is expressed as the number of steps performed correctly divided by the total number of steps times 10 or 100.
Frequency, recording the amount of times a specific event occurs. It could be a count of students' production or a count on behavior that needs to be changed. Only compare frequency if sessions are the same length. To convert the rate per minute, divide the total count by the number of minutes in the session.
4. Quality ratings. Rating scale according to the standards defined on the task analysis. Example, 5 equals match or exceed a standard. 4, near standard. 3, original quality. 2, low quality. And 1, poor quality.
5. Level of assistance. Determining the average level or type of help a student needs to complete a task. The goal is to decrease the level of assistance. 5. No assistance. 4. Telling or verbal prompts. 3. Showing or model prompts. 2. Brief tap or touch. 1. Physical assistance.
Graphing. Graphing is used to display a student's performance. It is useful to monitor progress over time on a short-term objective or on a task. It is easy to interpret. It helps communicate performance to teachers, parents, and students. The graph may have a horizontal line at a certain point to display the criterion in the short-term objective.
Portfolio assessment. A collection of a student's work that provides a general view of strengths and weaknesses. Contains various work examples such as math worksheets, writing samples, spelling tests, or artwork. Shows students' current level in a subject area, changes over time, patterns of errors, approaches to performing a task or solving a problem, or creative characteristics. Represents range of activities a student is engaged in. Engages students in assessing their own progress and accomplishments. Allows students to establish ongoing learning goals. Measures achievement while allowing differences between students. Represents a collaboration approach to assessment between instructor and student. Addresses improvement, effort, and achievement. Links assessments and teaching to learning.
Paraeducators' role in CBA, task analysis, and portfolio assessment. Paraeducators may participate in conducting a CBA by checking a student's performance in a curriculum area according to a sequence of short-term objectives. When performing task analysis includes checking a student's correct/incorrect performance on a specific task. It is very important to follow these procedures for CBA and TA. 1. Establish rapport with the student. 2. Describe your expectations. 3. Approach the task positively and encourage best performance. 4. Avoid providing any prompts or other assistance to the student. 5. Do not draw attention to testing devices such as a stopwatch or recording forms. 6. Reinforce effort, not correct performance. When using portfolio assessment, a paraeducator may assist the teacher in gathering and organizing samples of a student's work.
Principle 2. Establish expectations of students. Expectations for students should have 4 attributes. 1, high but achievable. Expectations should be individualized. Too high can result in students getting frustrated. Too low can result in students not meeting their potential. Number 2, positive. Positive expectations encourage students to try and increase motivation. 3, individualized. Set expectations based on the individual student's performance, not the other student's performance. 4, clearly communicate to students. Convey your expectations, check for comprehension, and frequently repeat the expectation.
Principle 3, maximize opportunities for responding. Students should be given plenty of opportunities to respond throughout the day, and they should be able to respond correctly to the majority of the opportunities. This helps them experience success, therefore they should remain interested. They should be given opportunities for responding throughout the school day, not just in the classroom environment. For an example, while walking in the hallway, students could be given the opportunity to identify colors, shapes, numbers, signs, etc. They could also be encouraged to practice greetings or conversation skills that they have been learning and practicing.
Principle 4, improve the instructional process. There are several ways to improve instructions. For example, preview lessons with students. Describe or demonstrate the skill that you are teaching. Check to make sure the student has the prerequisite skills. Conduct a short informal assessment at the beginning of a lesson. Example, before counting change, check to make sure the student doesn't confuse values of coins. If the student doesn't have the prerequisite skills, talk to your teacher. Set a pace for instruction. This should be individualized for each student as much as possible. Some students can handle a quicker pace, others have more success with a slower pace. Minimize transition time. As much as possible, try to get started on time to help minimize behavior problems, distraction, etc.
Principle 5, motivate students with positive consequences. Positive consequences motivate students to try harder, which tends to lead to successful experiences that make students feel better about themselves. Some examples of positive consequences are verbal praise, high fives, time with a preferred item.
Working as a member of an instructional team, paraeducators play an important role as members of the instructional team. They assess student performance and monitor instruction. With training and supervision, they may assist with preparing and presenting information and prompting correct responses.
5 steps in preparing and presenting information. Step 1, prepare for instruction before getting started. First, determine the materials you need and then get organized and ready. Second, reduce distractions in the learning environment. Eliminate distractions such as toys or games. Face desks away from windows and doors. Separate students who distract each other. Place potentially disruptive students in front of you. Step 2, get the students' attention. This is critical if working with our students and students with problems in sustaining attention. Use student's name, obtain eye contact, keep the pace quick and steady, adjust the pace as necessary.
Step 3, present the information. 3 ways of presenting. Showing, a useful way to present information if the skill has visible characteristics and the student is not visually impaired. Telling, using language and communication systems that are familiar and appropriate. Physical assisting, useful for students who are learning motor skills such as toothbrushing, hand washing, using table utensils, zipping, etc. The goal is to fade physical assistance when the students begin to respond. Fade from full physical assistance to touching or tapping, gesturing, etc. If the student stops or begins to respond incorrectly, establish physical assistance again, then start fading.
Step 4, call for a response. Make sure the student knows it's their turn to respond. Try to do it in the setting that is most natural. Step 5, wait for a response. Most students need 3 to 5 seconds. Do not respond for the student. You may be denying the student a learning opportunity.